You've joined us just in time for us to get our playthrough together of Alone in the Dark going. But thank you for finding us. Thank you for giving us a chance, Living Meme. And this is participatory with you all. Now, none of you ever had to have played the Call of Cthulhu system before in order to play, because this is a percentile system. So when it comes to making a roll, Living Meme, let's say that we needed to jump across. We need to jump across something here on our exploration of this haunted pyramid. I would say, all right, someone in chat, you know what, Living Meme, would you kindly roll a percentile in chat? And you would say, you know what, I'd love to do that. And you type exclamation point 1D100. No spaces or anything, just exclamation point 1D100. Give it a try, Living Meme. And in Call of Cthulhu, you want to roll at or under the number for the skill or ability you're testing. And in this case, as our jump is 20, so Living Meme rolls the D100, lands on a 65. As we needed a 20 or under, wow. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough, and Professor Louis Grunwald would fall to his death, never to be heard from again, the end. Okay, maybe not that serious, so no pressure on you, Living Meme. But that's how it works. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'm going to catch you all up on where we left off in our investigation. So if this is your first time to the channel, Living Meme, or it's maybe you caught this last week, but you're a little fuzzy on the details. Let me give a quick review, and then we will have Living Meme doom us all with high rolls like that. The story started on September 1st, 1931. We are playing Professor Louis Grunwald, a linguistic professor at Miskatonic University, located in Arkham, Massachusetts. Or Massachusetts, I suppose, if you want to mispronounce it. We received a telegram from a colleague who was arrested in Athens, Greece, for stealing an artifact of antiquity. Our friend said, hey, so I need you to come and get me out of jail. So after a little bit of investigation at the university, we acquired a ticket to cruise across the Atlantic Ocean, and it was a mostly uneventful cruise. We did have a suspicious person eyeing us, but we were able to lose them in the crowd on deck. But other than that, we played shuffleboard and poker and all sorts of fun stuff. So we arrive in Athens, Greece, only to find out that our colleague, who apparently studies strange topics, nothing as concrete as linguistics. Our colleague, while must have been suffering from extreme guilt, and while no one was looking, in jail, took a bed sheet and did some self-chiropractic on himself. I'll put it that way because this is ultimately going to be on YouTube later, and I would prefer not to get filtered for it. So wouldn't you know? Aw, darn! Our colleague clearly did this completely himself of his own accord after feeling pangs of guilt, and not because he stole an artifact called the Carpathos device, which was used in ruinous rituals thousands of years ago, and begged for it not to be sent to Egypt out of the staunch curation of the museum in Athens, Greece. So, in addition to those totally not suspicious circumstances for jail time chiropractic, we made our way to the Parthenon while we were waiting for one of the public buildings to open. And we were promptly attacked by an unnatural setting sun, which doesn't sound like an attack, but it did make things kind of spooky. Though then we were actually attacked by undead. All right, so then things were getting intense. We managed to escape, and we ran into someone who gave us a gold ring with a strange symbol on it, a star with a small flame inside. And then he promptly disappeared after saying it was up to us to continue to solve this mystery as his time was up. Okay, not sure what that means. However, the Carpathos device was already yeeted across the lands to Egypt. And so chat decided, instead of taking a cruise, a private smuggling vessel, or our third option was the train, chat chose the train. We rode the train from Athens to Cairo, and during that trip, wouldn't you know it, but venomous asps were slipped into our private sleeping car. We barely managed to escape. It burnt a good bit of our luck. But we managed to escape, and we made it to Cairo. Now that we are in Cairo, not only have we been attacked twice by cultists with some kind of a horrible ghost creature in their midst, but we've been learning a little bit more about antiquity, we'll say. And our research has brought us to a pyramid that isn't what it seems, as apparently there is much more inside this pyramid than what the guest entrance to the very safe portions of it might otherwise show. We were able to find a secret entrance on the east side of the pyramid. We hired 4 others, 4 locals, to go with us. In general, we have someone who is a bruiser, a sneak, a scout, and then there's us. Each of us can only hold 3 items. We survived a day of exploration inside the pyramid. But as it was getting late and we would otherwise run out of food, we retreated and were spending Saturday resting and restocking. So this day is going to be pretty much just gone for the shopping, okay? Also, apparently Sierra Echo has gotten himself trapped in the donjon. You are now in an extra-dimensional sphere. May the god or gods have mercy on your soul, Sierra Echo. All right, so this is where we're picking up. There's a village nearby the pyramid where we stayed at the inn, and we're going to go back to Cairo, resupply. That's why Saturday is going to be a lost day, because we're going to be doing this. And we're going to come back on Sunday, the 27th, and we're going to explore. Now, in our first exploration, we made it here, following one segment at a time. And the other segments are off to the side. We don't know their order. And we've been gluing them down on the map as we've been uncovering them. But chat wanted to come back with extra supplies and explore the rest of the pyramid before we got back to this stopping point, which was a grand staircase that spiraled down further. And so Living Meme, Big Slam, Sierra Echo, Raven, Lucius, and others, this is where we're picking up. We have our four others who are still with us, and it's time to head back to the pyramid. All right, this says the inn's proprietors are fiercely aloof. To stay there anyway, go to 447. To eat there, go to 584. All right, we went to 584 to rest in your car if you still have it. We took a taxi. To sleep in the desert, 319. All right, and I believe that chat said that they wanted to stay at the inn. So that was 447. You stay the night. You wake groggily as if drugged. The air is cold and you feel as though you're falling. When you open your eyes, you see only darkness. Go to 373. Wait, did we choose to stay here? This doesn't seem familiar. What did we decide to do? No, we decided to resupply. Sorry, this was on Friday last week when we ended this, and we didn't revisit it on Saturday for our, like the giveaway show and the recap of things. 447. No, 444. I know that we ate because we put a little sausage here in the morning. Hang on. I know how to solve this. You've joined us just in time for us to get our... Come on, video. Why can't you fast forward? All right, let's try this again. I hope to... I should have gotten a drink while I was up too. I have one last sip in here. Why won't the video player let me fast forward? All right, hold on. Go to the video producer. The inn's proprietors, we should also eat there. There is an inn at that village. We can stay in the village at the inn. Tell-el-Amarna. The village is quiet. Okay. If you have time to inspect, if you need to spend the night at the inn, 444. We are very drowsy. We're very tired. In for a full day and come back on Saturday or later, right? The inn's proprietors are fiercely aloof. To stay there anyway, go to 447. To eat there, go to 584. To rest in your car if you still have it, well, we took a taxi out. To sleep in the desert. Okay. Do you want to sleep in the desert? Or do you want to talk to the inn's proprietors? We should also eat there. The inn's proprietors are fiercely aloof. In the interim, we can chat around and gather info. Aloofness is doofness. Eat, talk in the market. Eat, talk. Well, we're not back in Cairo. We're in the village next to the pyramid, Scanian. Danger Man chooses lurk. Sleep in the aloof zone. One moment. All right, I think that we should eat, and then we can talk about resting because we'll have to. But we should absolutely get a meal in. Okay, yes, we were definitely eating. Like we're fed some sort of. You are served an overpriced, skimpy, smelly, bad-tasting meal. Angrily, you go to 444. But we can put that we have a sausage next to our name. Yeah, sausage. We got it. Maybe we just left off there. And so that starts the next day. But we do need to sleep. Let's sleep. Go to Cairo for a few days, visiting museum, library, university, market, gather gossip and info. All right. Well, all right, so we ate. We had a very expensive... All right, so chat. Big Slam, Living Meme, Sierra Echo, and everyone else here. We left off with a very expensive breakfast because we needed to eat something. Okay? What do you want to do for sleeping? We can sleep at the inn. We can sleep in the desert. We don't have a car to sleep in. Though I presume we can get a taxi to Cairo. What do you want to do? Because we need to sleep. We need to sleep for most of the day. Because we didn't get to sleep last night. We have to make up for it. The inn in Tell-el... All right. So, yeah, Tell-el-Amarna. The village is quiet. A gust of wind picks up dust along the empty road. Here and there, a face looks out from a doorway. You spot the pyramid, one much smaller and less imposing than the pyramids at Giza. A well-trod path leads to the pyramid entrance. And so we already inspected, and we'll end up going back. So it says, if you need to spend the night at the inn, 444. Okay, so we go to 444. The inn's proprietors are fiercely aloof. To stay there anyway, go to 447 to eat there. So we ate there. To rest in your car if you have it, we don't. To sleep in the desert, go to 319. Or to go to the pyramid, go to 360. I wouldn't want to sleep in the pyramid. And also, we need to sleep before we resupply. Now, we can't resupply in the village. We do have to go to Cairo for that. So it's going to be sleeping, Cairo, supply, and then come back at some point. So, all right, Big Slam and Living Meme, you want to stay at the inn? Okay. Get the music playing again. All right, 447. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is, we slept 8 hours. You stay the night. You wake groggily as if drugged. The air is cold and you feel as though you're falling. When you open your eyes, you see only darkness. Go to 373. You learn that you have landed in a bowl-shaped chamber. You think you can hear the sound of movement, but you see nothing until you strike a match. You stand knee-deep in a stack or pile of something, and the smell of blood is strong. Near you, something moves spasmodically. Your hackles rise. Make a sanity roll and lose 1 or 1d3 sanity points. Big Slam, type exclamation point 1d100, and we need a 43 or lower because our current sanity is 43. $48 isn't going to do it, and you can't spend luck on sanity rolls. All right, now I need you to type exclamation point 1d3. One. All right, we lose 1 sanity. If you are thrown here, you're trapped. We don't have an amulet. And, in the gloom, you see a basket lowered. Or wait, if you do not have the amulet, or if you are insane, above you, you hear another sound. In the gloom, you see a basket lowered. A whispery, otherworldly voice croaks, "Fill the basket." All right, well... this goes on to say, if you refuse the whispered instruction and have no effective magic item, acid rains down upon you, burning you and eating your skin. Well, we have a we don't know it's magic. We have a ring. If you refuse the whispered instruction and have no effective magic item, acid rains down upon you. We don't have the Amulet of Noddens. Fill it, your mind shrieks. Fill it nicely with bits and pieces from all the nice bodies down here. Some of them still moving. Yes, fill it before they throw more acid on you until you're a part of the mucky mess of bodies. You can use 1 sanity point per hour until you are insane. Though you remain on the job thereafter, it does not take long until you two become a part of the grisly half-dead pile. Alright, well, that's it. We are dead. You stayed at the inn with the shifty-looking the shifty-looking proprietors in the village outside the Cursed Pyramid, and they fed you to the cult that has been chasing you and probably trying to kill you in Cairo. Now, that does not mean that it is the end forever of this adventure, and that's it, no more. We have to start over. You could. Well, I mean, look, living meme in Big Slam. What can I tell you? I told you you were chased by cultists, and that I went back and I read that the keepers were shifty, and we paid a lot of money for not good food, and that we had a haunted pyramid experience, and this is the village right outside of it. So, there are, just like you get in D&D and in other places, there are consequences to actions, and this is such. We went insane and we died. Now, what happens in this choose your own adventure? I suppose that you could always go back and say, oh, wait, I totally didn't mean to do that. Wait, I'm dyslexic and I didn't mean 373. I reversed the numbers. I meant 373. Well, ignore that. I totally meant not 373. You could do that. This is a solo game. You're the only person who knows if you have gone back on fate. However, knowing that this is a deadly story, one with consequences for trusting the not right people or making various questionable decisions, the story has you covered. Now, as we come back over here, the order of play for investigators. Ernest Holt is the next investigator who will pick up where Professor Grunwald. Well, the food arguably isn't what drugged us. So let's see what happens. Because this does say here, when first beginning play, design only Professor Grunwald, the initial investigator. Since each investigator communicates with the next, it is reasonable and proper to design succeeding investigators in the light of what has happened in the past, as well as to suggest the particular investigator's backstory and experience. When you finish a series of 4 investigators, turn back the clock. Grunwald's initial starting position always is September 1st, 1931, and try again. So this can turn into a grindhouse. We might lose all 4 possible investigators here. Professor Grunwald, Ernest Holt, Lydia Lau, and Devin Wilson. Investigators succeeding Professor Grunwald begin in play at stated amounts of time following the death of the preceding investigator, and the order of play does not change. So there are 4 already made investigators. All right, I need to open up I need to open up a new character sheet. And let's take a look. Whoops. All right, we have Ernest Holt. Age 62. Residence New York City. Occupation industrialist. Our strength is 45. Our con is 35. Our size is 80. Our dex is 55. Our int is 80. Our power is 50. App 60, Edu 65. Our luck is 55 as well. And our sanity what is our sanity at? 50. There we go. Yep, another notch in the old dice tray. Yeah, you learn quickly not to get attached to your Cthulhu characters, usually because something will attach to them. Now, Living Meme or others, if you've not made a Call of Cthulhu character, we're given some basics here, which is why you're like, oh, how do we know our luck is 55? There's some very easy to follow rules for these calculations, but for this style of play, when you're given characters, this is really just transferring the numbers over. Just trust them, bro. And then we're going to get some extra points to play with. So we know that our brawl is at 25. Can't fill in over there. That's fine. Brawl is 25. So these numbers here are for this line up top. But for some reason on the form fillable, I can't do much about that. Our dodge is 30%. We do have a 45 revolver, which is at 40%. D10 plus 2. And a 12 gauge shotgun. 25%. 46. Yeah, this has scaling. Hey! Welcome. Oni, it is nice to have you over in my corner of Twitch. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Now, Oni was playing Demonologist, which is a game similar to Phasmophobia. Kind of, Oni, kind of. This is Call of Cthulhu, and I'm taking chat through kind of a create-your-own-adventure. We are currently investigating a necromantic cult in Egypt who may be getting their hands on something called the Carpathos device, which they ought not have, as it's arguable cult members have hands anymore. And our last investigator just died. We stayed at an inn outside of the village where this pyramid is located. We were drugged and thrown into a pit with acid poured on us. And so now, it is... Hi, Scanian. We need to make our second investigator to pick up the investigation where Professor Louis Grunwald sadly departed this world. Now, for those of you do give Oni a look. Oni streams, well, speaking of investigations and ghosts and things that would drive you to insanity, like Call of Cthulhu. Oni plays Phasmophobia, Demonologist, and I believe some other, horror games generally, so you're a horror game varietal streamer. I met Oni in a rando multiplayer game of Phasmophobia a little while ago. Nice as can be. I'm a complete newbie at Phasmo, and he and the players with him had patience and took me along on these advanced ghost hunts.
Not.
Oh, thank you, Obsidian Cyrix. He and the other investigators took me as a noob on complex hunts. I was explained in practical terms how the gear tends to work and what to look for and such. So I would absolutely give Oni a look. Very friendly guy. And congratulations, Oni. He just won a very rare achievement on Steam for Phasmo, which is getting the gold trophy in the hardest difficulty. I think it's called Apocalypse. Pardon. He did that yesterday. Sorry, who knew soda made you burp? There's no warning labels on the can. It's dumb. Anyway. He just got this gold trophy on Apocalypse difficulty setting for Phasmo. So, yeah. So, cheers, and Oni, thank you for coming over. So, as you're eating, hey, it may not be D&D directly. This is still role-playing. This is still... in fact, this might be up your alley since you do like paranormal and horror and investigation. As our last character just died, we're going to be creating our next character who will go on the hunt in place of our dearly departed Louis Grunwald. And so Scanian, so Scanian, as you may remember where we left off, we went back to the inn in the village outside the pyramid and we ate. Chat chose to, I say chat because it totally wasn't me. Chat chose to stay at the inn with the locals outside of the pyramid. We were drugged and thrown into a pit. where we died. And now it'll be sometime later, and we need to create our backup character. We're transferring over the core of what we know about Ernest Holt. And then we're going to get some bonus points to throw in on the character. So as you look here, accounting he has at 25. His credit rating is 50. That's purchasing power, available cash, things like that. Firearms, handgun. Actually, I guess Brawl, since Brawl is up there. There we go. Oh, it autofilled. That's why it did it. It just automatically grabbed. It automatically grabbed it from there. Firearms, Intimidate 50. Language, Own is English, which is at 65%. And we could also speak German, a little bit of German. We can sprechen some Deutsch. Law is at 20%. Listen is at 30%. Persuade is at 40%. Psychology is at 30%. Spot hidden is at 50%. And throw is at 30%. Now you can see that next to these skills, there are some basic numbers. So everyone has 10 in track, swim at 20, stealth is 20, sleight of hand is 10, ride is 5, psychoanalysis is 1, firearms like rifles and shotguns are 25, first aid is 30, history is 5, jump is 20, library use is 20, locksmith is 1, mech repair is 10, medicine is 1, natural world is 10, navigate is 10, occult is 5. Firearms, handgun is actually, that one was 40%. Fast talk 5, electrical repair 10, drive auto 20, disguise 5, climb 20, charm 15, archaeology 1, appraise 5, and anthropology 1. Now, we have 100. We have 150 points to spend on this character. And one way that we can find guidance in what is it that he would be good at. Well, we know a couple things here. Personal description. Clean shaven. Receding hairline. Prominent eyebrows. Significant people. We were friends with Professor Louis Grunwald and Lydia Lau. And before retiring from the Navy, so we were in the Navy, was Devin Wilson's commander. Our available cash is $35,000 because we're an industrialist. So we retired from the Navy, And we went into industry, and we have a significant amount of cash that we can dive into. Now, where does the other 150 points go into? Well, we know that he was in the Navy, so perhaps we put some of that into, especially in a command role, maybe we put some more points into psychology, or, I mean, our intimidate is 50, so we might have been a very stern commander. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how much handgun or rifle training the Navy gets. I have to imagine that there's a baseline that all armed service members get. And I don't think that the SEALs were around in, let's see, if he's 60-something, this would have been probably in the late 1800s. Can I zoom it? Which sheet, Scanian? On the character sheet? I will see what I can do here. It gets cut off a little bit, but if here are the various skills that we can put things into. Now, if we want to learn more, and it might make sense if we were trained in small arms, as our firearms handgun isn't 20% but 40%. If we go over to the Call of Cthulhu rulebook and we take a look at investigator creation here, we have our personal description. What is our ideology or our beliefs? Why don't we put this sheet back over here and go back here. Scanian, would you please type exclamation point 1D10? Lands on a 3. Science has all the answers. Pick a particular aspect of interest. Evolution, cryogenics, space exploration. Oh, this isn't just fluff. This could very well help us determine the skills that we want to give to our character. This probably explains which kind of industrialist we are. So, for our ideology and beliefs, let's put down science has all the answers. In particular, we became an industrial magnate in the field of what? Now, we know, so he was in the Navy. We know that he knows Professor Louis Grunwald. So it could have something to do, I mean, he can speak a little German. Maybe he was stationed over there. Or maybe he helped, maybe he contacted Professor Grunwald to get him over. Um, Science has all the answers? Sounds like a skeptic to me. He lives in New York City. So metals, so he could be a metallurgist, perhaps. As he served aboard a Navy ship, maybe he understood the effects of corrosion on the steel, or he could work on various rust-resistant paint, or he knew about armor, things like that. Or how, let's see. He was probably still serving in World War One, because it's currently 1931 and he's 63. He was probably in, he fought in, as a part of the Navy in World War One. So if you wanted him to know about metal, otherwise, maybe he's an arms dealer as an industrialist. I mean, nothing in particular means metal, but I mean, science, metal has all the answers. Build a better ship that won't sink when torpedoed, or build things that won't rust or break down. After all, after World War One, we see a sharp decline in actual horseback cavalry and single shot rifles as things are moving into higher capacity magazines, into automation, as we see better tanks and submersibles starting to come online in the Spanish-American War too. So here, in particular, we became an industrial magnate in the field of metallurgy. Now, this would mean that we should put points. I mean, just because you're an industrial magnate doesn't mean, like, Elon Musk doesn't know rocket science despite him owning SpaceX, right? He may not be able to build an electric car despite owning Tesla, which does. But he knows enough that he made connections and that he was able to get an industry built. So we should put some kind of science into metals or metallurgy. Significant people we already know. Now, what about meaningful locations? Big Slam, exclamation point 1d10. Let's get to know our character a little bit better. Lands on a 7. The grave of a significant person. Who? Parent, child, lover. Meaningful locations? Well, perhaps... we don't know. He might be a widower. So what if the grave of his wife is a meaningful location to him? In fact, that could even have been what happened to get him out of the Navy and into science. So not quite a Mr. Freeze. Not quite a Mr. Freeze thing, but maybe he served, maybe his wife died while he was serving. And he felt that, metal doesn't die. Metal can resist corruption and corrosion. Metal is strong and can last forever. Maybe this is what saw him retiring from the Navy, and he just focused on his work because that's all that was left. Treasured possessions. Living meme. Are you out there still? If so, can you please type exclamation point 1d10? Big Slim. Oh, when polio was the thing? Yeah, so maybe he saw that people could have braces or soldiers could have prosthetics made of metal. Maybe he dreams of men made of metal. He's trying to invent the first robot or something. Lands on an 8. A sporting item. A cricket bat, a signed baseball, a fishing rod. What? All right. So he has a sport. So he is good at some kind of sport. I don't know if dueling's considered a sport. I mean, golf seems the obvious. We do know... where is that? Over here? No, not that. We do know that he has a 30 in throw. Maybe he has a lucky baseball. Maybe he pitched for, you know how, like, Navy and Army will have, like, sports skirmishes and football and stuff? What if he played basketball or baseball while in the Navy also? You know, something to do while you're on the ship, you know, you throw, throwing, well, yeah, that could be throwing lines in the Navy. Or in his retirement, he wanted to pick up golf or something else. Military boxing, was that a thing in the 1910s? Well, if that's the case, well, our strength is 45, but we are older, and in this system, you do reduce, we could buy it back up, I suppose, but you do reduce your strength down as you age, but you tend to get wiser in some other things, too. Baseball sound, oh yeah, baseball in New York? Especially if we're in metallurgy and we're oh, you know what? Let's look up something. When was Yankees Stadium built? Stadium opened in April 2009, replacing the original that operated from 1923 to 2008. It's situated on the 24-acre former site of McCombs Dam Park, 1 block north of the original stadium site. All right, so if the first Yankee Stadium opened in 1923, maybe it used metal. Maybe it used metal, and that's how we became so stinking rich. It was built, because of course if this is in 28, it was built with strong stuff. Maybe that ended up being a testing ground. You know, this is the metal that would end up being used in the battleships, a decade later in World War II. But so yeah, maybe baseball. I think baseball would work. So let's give him his treasured possession is his old baseball from his Navy service in Spanish American War and World War I. And then lastly, GMV, exclamation point 1d10. What is a trait of this character? And GMV says, what was New York like in 1910? The city pulsed with life, and Times Square was at its heart, teeming with newsboys shouting headlines of the Titanic, the Great War, and women demanding the right to vote. The streets of Manhattan in the 1910s were a sensory overload, a lively tableau of day-to-day hustle. GMV says that our character is a gambler and risk taker. Poker face, try anything once, lives on the edge. All right, traits, we are a gambler. So we probably threw some dice in our service days too. Lamia, hello. Okay, no, thank you for saying hi. Take care of real life stuff first. We'll be around. All right, so we're a gambler. Now, with this knowledge, we know that we were friends with Professor Louis Grunwald, so there is a connection to Miskatonic University, to this old professor from Germany. We knew him, we were friends. So maybe there's some connection at Miskatonic as well. We didn't know the other professor that died, that self-chiropractored himself in jail. We can spend 150 points to buy up any of these totals. Now, as we've seen, as a guide, the following skills could be useful: climb, charm, fast talk, fighting, firearms, history, intimidate, jump, library use, listen, persuade, psychology, spot hidden, stealth, and throw. So a mix of some, mental and physical. Woo! There's a cat that's loose in here. Have you all seen it? I don't know where it is. Thank you, Lamia. Do we have to take any of those? No. But we have seen that it could come in handy. So we can always buy up something like throw and put that up to a 50 if we wanted to. All right, so anyway, what do we know about this character? He used to be a commander in the Navy. We know that he is now an industrial magnate out of New York City and is filthy rich. Do we want to give him mechanical repair? I think that we should give him science. I guess this would be metallurgy or metals. Now, so here's the thing, Big Slam. Would he be charming? He's really good at intimidating, and I don't know if he has to be charming. We can take charming, and that's fine. But we have a very direct personality. We have someone who takes gambles. We have someone, clean-shaven, who believes in the cold hard science over other things. He probably hasn't ever had to be charming ever since he lost his wife. Now, as for persuasion, we are at 40% persuasion already. So we could increase that if you wish. But chat, I'm asking you, which kind of skills would a character like this have? We can buy up our totals, and we have 150 points to do so. Do you want to make him a little bit more physical in some way? Do we want to, is he handy with machines? Should we give him mechanical repair? What should we put metallurgy at as a science? No, Sierra, we can't buy luck. I mean, I guess technically you can, but I'm not going to allow it. We could make him even more rich by increasing his credit rating. Because as we come over here to credit rating, so 50 to 89, we're wealthy. If we bring it to 90 or above, we're rich. 99 is super rich. We can increase our, I don't know, we don't have old man strength like Professor Grunwald did. But dodging, if we want to bring up brawling and dodging, if we want to bring up our handgun, our firearms, we could. We can buy happiness. Bacon makes everyone happier, so we should buy some bacon. Let's see, I think Scanian said that 20% in metallurgy. Like, we know enough that we know the terms. We know a lot of the basics. We may not be the scientist in the lab inventing adamantium, but we knew enough in our service, and then we're combining that with our social skills to buy the people who are the scientists. But I think it would be good to have something that is more. So if we do this, if we put 20 in metallurgy, so we have 150 minus 20 in metallurgy, gives us 130 remaining. Well, I put 2 instead of 20. If we were a commander in the Navy, so there is Intimidate, that's at 50. We could bring persuasion. We could bring persuasion higher. Psychology could be important. That's understanding how people think, and we were a commander on a ship. Understanding why people make decisions, and this is reinforced as an industrialist. That could be another good place to drop in some points. Former military, firearms, physical fitness. So it sounds like y'all want to bring up, if we bring up firearms handgun, let's bring that to at least to 50. So we have 130 minus 10 handguns. We have 120 remaining. Science has all the answers. Here's another question. Would any of this have led him in the direction to study the occult? If science and metal has the answers, would he be looking at uncommon metals or uncommon uses of metals in his global travels in the Navy, in the Spanish-American War and World War I? Intimidation is at 50 GMV. Psychology at 45. Big Slam. So you want to drop 15 points there? So if we do that, then 120 minus 15 psychology equals, we have 105 points left. Yep, all right. So mechanical repair. Why don't we put another 10 points in there? And then we go from 105 minus 10 Mech repair equals 95 points remaining. I think throw, especially because we had baseball. Scannion made a very good point that in the Navy, he probably ended up getting good at throwing ropes. To, you know, as you're docking or undocking, or if you have to, you're hauling supplies or something. So bringing up a physical skill like throw could come in handy, I believe. And possibly climb? Do you think he'd be good at climbing more than the normal 20%? Ship commanders aren't the ones tossing? Okay, well, yeah. Although at some point in time he had to before he became commander. Though I do think we should increase a physical skill, whether that's throw, jump, or climb, or a little bit of all of them. Swim is low? Could it help us? Maybe. We've already been on a ship. And we had the option of getting on another ship before, too. So, living meme. We could bring swim up if you want. I mean, clearly there's no one in the Navy who can't swim, right? Well, not in that specific instance. Although our last professor was swimming in acid, so there's that. Big Slam is saying throw 40, climb 30, so we're throwing in 10, 10, and 10 to bump these numbers up. Throw 40, climb 30. So that is 95 minus 20. Physical skills. We have 75 points remaining. Well, Professor Grunwald didn't really have a choice in that matter. The acid found him. Our spot hidden is pretty good. Our listen is not bad. It went from 20 to 30. And, I mean, depending on how much shooting he's done at 63, maybe he doesn't hear the best. I don't know. We can still have fun with it. We could slip in some occult points based on stories. How many do you want to put in, Sierra? We have 75 points remaining. You want to bring occult from 5 to what? Boost it to give him some boosties up to 25. So this would be 75 minus 20 equals 55. We have 55 points remaining. We can increase something we've already increased. We can increase fighting brawl if you think he did some boxing on the ship. Scannion said something about sword fighting. Let's see. There's history or library use. Listen. Swim, throw, track. Persuades at 40. I mean, we have intimidate at 50. If you want to try and be more persuasive, we could increase our understanding of the German language from 25 to something greater. Rest of the points in Brawl. Well, do you want it in Brawl or do you want it in Dodge? Or do you want to split between Brawl and Dodge? And Scannian brought up that he probably fought in the Spanish-American War too, GMV. Although I guess Dodge might be a fixed, because Dodge just simply says half dex, and that's probably like round up in half from 55 to 60. No, we could probably increase. Can we increase Dodge? Because that might not be. Well, no, that we might have increased it beyond. It's you know what? The minimum is half dex. That's what that is. The minimum, like all of these, is half dex. So there was 5 points thrown in, or not half. Dodge isn't 60. Dodge was 30. So it was bought up after taking half dex, and we went from there. All right. Any other suggestions? We have 55 points remaining. I do see German, so we can buy that up if you want. Spanish-American War was first, and he was unlikely to be a commander then, and not as likely to need to know any Spanish. By the time World War I came around, he would have been a higher rank, making knowing German more useful. All right, well, if our English is 65, so, you know, maybe he was born in the countryside, he enlisted in the Navy. You know, we have a good grasp of English, but we're not, we don't elucidate with purple prose very often. I don't know, German. What do you want to buy German up to? We have 25. You want to throw it? You want to bring him up to 40%? We might not sprechen Sie Deutsch, but maybe we just sprech. Some more navigation if he was a commander in the Navy. Seems like knowing how to navigate would be useful skill. Something like 10 points. 30 to 35 in German. All right, so we're throwing 10 points in German. We're throwing 10 points in Navigate. So we go from 55 minus 20. We have 35 points remaining. That's a roll, and I don't think we can dump our points into that, Scannian. As we come over to character creation here. Roll and record 5 rolls of 3d6 and 3 rolls of 2d6 plus 6. Multiply each of these 8 results by 5. Allocate the characteristic values as you wish. And then we're doing the point buy. Or no, wait, that was option 3 when choosing where to place rolled. Because the other ones were, I mean, it's a pre-gen character, but I think that's fixed in there. So I think we have to stick with our characteristics, but we can buy our skills. Oh, history. He certainly was through a lot of history. Living meme. That might not be bad. Living meme, do you want to put all 35 into history, bringing it up to 40? Or do you want to only use a little bit? Now remember, just spreading this stuff out sounds good, and technically, if we put 5 points in history, yeah, you're going from 5 to 10. That's still going from a 5% chance to succeed to a 10% chance to succeed. So is it a meaningful addition, or could 5 be better going to make something from a 50-50 like Intimidate up to a 55-45 split instead? So think about that too. All history, let's go, says GMV. All right. All history, let's go, living meme. We know we are going to we might solve a mystery, we might rewrite history. DuckTales a woohoo. Yeah, DuckTales Cthulhu. All right, everyone, I want to introduce you. I want to introduce you to Ernest Holt. He is our second investigator, picking up where our dearly departed Professor Louis Grunwald left us so soon. Now, let's head back here and find out how do we pick up with another character. We're going to go Ernest Holt entry number 36. Yes, the investigator is dead. Long live the investigator. I'll tell you what. Here's the page. Before we begin, let me get up and stretch real quick. I'm going to grab another drink because I'm all out of sody pop. And then we'll come back and we'll get the investigation going again, all right? So, hold on tight. I'll be back in maybe 5 minutes. And we'll come back and restart the investigation.